Hello everyone, this is Jordan. Welcome back to the Daily Gold YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. And for those of you who are new, welcome to the Daily Gold YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you're having a great week so far. This video is being recorded on the evening of Wednesday, February 19th, 2025. And in this video, I am going to share 5 silver charts that are catching my eye and also going to talk about what I think is next for the silver market. Without further ado, let's get right to it. So first here, we have the short interest in the SLV ETF. The SLV ETF is here in blue, and it does a very good job of tracking the silver price, similar to how GLD does a good job of tracking the gold price. So again here, silver in blue, short interest here in black. Interestingly, you can have short interest set off a parabolic move, or you can have short interest mark a significant bottom. So we have each of those cases. Short interest in the last month or so has been increasing. This is getting really high. This data is as of a week ago. So even if this has come down as we're speaking and recording today, the silver market has held up really well in the face of all these people here betting or going short, I should say. And so if silver is able to move above 33.34 or hold above 33.34, I think that would precipitate some of these shorts starting to cover. So in any event, because of this and because of where the silver price is, 33 right now, there is, what I should say, this is future buying power. So this is future buying power that will help the market. If it doesn't help the market move higher, it will help it stabilize here in the low to mid 30s. So that's the first chart. Second chart here, this is more of a long-term chart from Callum Thomas and Top Down Charts. You can see him on Twitter. Also here, gold.topdowncharts.com. So this shows the share of all silver ETFs. So what this chart does is it takes all the assets in all of the silver ETFs divided by all ETF assets. And this is what you get. 2011 peak. This was at about 1.9%. Look at where we are right now, 0.2%. This is a secular bear market. This does a good job of defining it. So from 1.9% all the way to 0.2%, I mean, this is barely above this low here in 2019. But it's even lower than here when the ETF, the silver and gold ETFs were introduced. So big picture, this is just a really, really bullish chart. It doesn't necessarily mean next month, next quarter, or even the next 6 months that silver is going to go higher. But again, the silver price is at 33. This is where the ETF share is 0.2%. What if this were to go to like right here, 0.5%? Like what if you see it goes right here, 0.5%? What silver price is that? Is that 50? Is that 40, 45? I mean, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Because when this thing starts moving up here like this, that's really bullish for the market. That keeps happening for 3, 5, 6 years. These silver prices are going to look pretty cheap in retrospect. So that's chart number 2. Chart number 3, this is my own. Silver against foreign currency. So this is silver divided by the inverse of the dollar index. Another way to look at that, silver multiplied by the US dollar index. So we do this with gold often. And so we're looking at how is silver performing when we basically remove the weak dollar from the equation. And this close, I mean, this is being recorded Wednesday evening. So the close on Tuesday, this is the third highest daily close in 45 years. So, I mean, that is really significant, people. And this level, if we were to close at this level on Friday, this would be the highest weekly close in 45 years. So, I mean, this is a hell of a breakout that silver is working on here. Silver against foreign currencies. Okay, number 4. So this is from sentimenttrader.com. You can also follow them on Twitter. This is what they call the optics. This basically used to be called public opinion, although they may have changed it a little bit. So these public opinion surveys, I mean, you have the bullish consensus and you get a percentage from 0 to 100, 70% bull, 30% bulls, etc. So these are really instructive and actionable. And so what I did here is I looked at the data. This moving average here is the 50-day moving average of the data. And so interestingly, look at the 50-day moving average of the data. I put this line here at about 75% because the 50 moving average, 50-day moving average, you can see a peak here, peak here, peak here. Again, I'm looking at the 50-day moving average peaks. Another peak here, another peak here. So it tends to peak, the 50-day moving average, around 75% bulls. So where are we right now? Again, this is a day old, so we're at about 64. Now, it went down to 71 today. This is right about the same because we're looking at an average of the last 50 days. So again, 50-day moving average right now, 64. Major peaks come at 75. And the raw data, if we're just looking at the daily data, I put this line here at 85. So we're at 71 right now. Again, this is after today. This is from yesterday. So daily data, 85 tends to be where you get the peak. So if silver were to continue to move higher, there's still room for that to happen based on this sentiment survey. Okay, number 5. Silver bull analog. Again, this is one of my, this is one of my proprietary charts looking at the 4 best moves in silver, plotting them on the current scale, the scale of the current move, which based on how I track it, and that's another conversation, I start the move in February. And so the black here is the current move, which is right here. And we're actually running, and this is weekly data, we're running below the average. The dotted line is the average. So if we're looking at the average, the average comes to about $40 an ounce, just after the beginning of June. So we could call it the middle of June. So we can say it's nearly 4 months. The average puts us at 40. The average also by the end of the year, you're looking at 45 basically. Also, if you look at all these lines by the end of the year, this is one of the low spots, 38 right here. But if we're, again, so this is December. So the average in December, call it, December 9th, the average is at, call it 43-ish. And so the lowest one is at about 42. So just being conservative here, that gives us a sense of how this move in silver is comparing to the past moves. But it's running a little bit behind so far. But that's okay because that's what silver does. What we will see happen, or my guess is, silver is probably really going to take the lead and just really surprise when it moves above 40, gets close to retesting 50. And then when it breaks 50, it's going to be gone. If you've read my book, the evidence is in there. My view is whenever you see it breaking 50, based on past breakouts of big bases, it could hit 95, 100, like in 12 or 13 months. So that's what we have to look forward to, what's ahead in silver. And based on that, that's a good segue before I get to the last chart of our premium service. We do cover silver and silver stocks. Just recently moved a silver stock from our watch list into the top 10. So we have a top 10 company list and table with all the information, market cap, cash, debt, 200 words of notes, all the key targets and numbers and everything the company is doing. So we have that for top 10 companies, also a top 10 watch list. We also have a secondary watch list. I'll publish that again in the next couple weeks. And again, if you are a subscriber, thank you so much for being a subscriber. And if you're not a subscriber, we'd love to have you come aboard. Go to thedailygold.com/premium. Head on over there, scroll to the bottom of the page, and that's where you can sign up. Again, thank you so much to the subscribers. We'd love to have you come aboard if you're not a subscriber. And with that, let's wrap up the video here. Look at the daily chart. And there's several things I want to touch on as far as the daily chart. So yesterday, we broke above 33. Today, is this a retest? Maybe. Are we giving it back? Could silver fluctuate like this? Yes, that's possible. But nevertheless, the moving averages here in alignment, 50-day, 200-day, 400-day. Silver against gold, silver divided by gold here, still kind of weak. We'd love to see this just move up a little bit and test the moving average. That would be nice. This line here, 27.31, this is rising at about 10 cents a day. So in a month and a half or so, this will be at 28. So this is the 400-day moving average. I've mentioned it in some other videos, but so the 400-day moving average will be at 28 before the spring. And so 28, I mean, that's a really reasonable price. If you're assessing and evaluating your silver stocks, $28, that's a really conservative, good level to use. And again, you have to look at and evaluate your stocks based on the current market right now. If you use $50 silver or $100 silver, look, every piece of moose pasture with silver in the name will have a higher value at $100 or $50 silver. But you have to look at what's cheap right now and what has the most leverage to $40, $50 silver, etc. So that's what I'm looking at here. But 200 or 400-day moving average will hit 28. So I think that's a really good sign considering where we are now, 33. So yes, the market could dip and come back, maybe test the 50-day here. That would be perfectly fine. Here we saw two great tests of the 200-day moving average. These arrows show, I mean, we had this huge reversal last Friday. But look, we had a similar reversal here, similar reversal here, similar one here. So this reversal, not necessarily the end of the world. It has happened in the past. So wanted to point that out. RSI here, I would love to see silver make a move like this. Because when you see RSI after a while struggle to move above 70, and then we could get a big move like that, that would be significant. So you get a big move above 70 in the RSI, that would actually be bullish because that would be a sign of the market gaining some new momentum, and that would signal that could be sustainable, kind of like what we saw here and even here, because the market, even after correction, was able to make a new high. So those are all my thoughts on the daily chart. I still think that you're probably going to see this move up to 35 or 37, I think, in the short term. I think that can happen before we get some kind of a correction. And last thing, I'd love to see this go to 35 or 37 and then pull back and consolidate for 3, 4, 5 months, because that could then set up that big move up to $50 silver. And the way things are setting up in the sector, that leg higher should be really spectacular across the board. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know what you think about silver. Do you have any short-term price targets, or where do you think it's going to be at the end of the year? We'd love to hear from you. Again, thank you, and I hope you have a great rest of the week. I'll see you guys on Friday for the weekly update.